All right, Temur Reclamation, Temur Control. So this isn't a deck that's trying to loop Nexus of Fate like a lot of these Reclamation decks. This is a deck that's basically looking to play this card in kind of a pretty fair manner. The only pseudo-unfair thing you do with this deck is you can float a bunch of mana to create giant explosions, but at its core, this deck is kind of just ramping up into Niv-Mizzet and then, like, untapping its land with Reclamation, then triggering Niv-Mizzet a bunch the turn they play it, which is still powerful. Dougal, thank you very much for that brand new, very generous Tier 2 sub. Remember, my Tier 2 subs get to bump a deck in the queue every single month when they re-up, so feel free to drop me a message in private and let me know which deck you'd like to see a little bit sooner. Yeah, it's sweet that you can, like, tap out for stuff and then it'll still hold up your mana. Reclamation also just has fantastic synergy with Chemister's Insight because it lets us play Reclamation on 4 and then immediately draw 2 cards as well. Star, I agree, Caterberg. Star is a card that's very powerful in general in the format, and I think this deck is hopefully going to do a good job of leveraging it between its high land count and the ability to ramp with both Search for Azcanta and Growth Spiral. It's always satisfying when someone casts Unmoored Ego and you're just like, yep, alright, kill you with this other stuff. Do I have every playable rare in the standard? Yeah, I think so at this point. There's a few I don't still have, but yeah, most of the playables are there. Yikes, this hand is not stellar against that start. Really, fingers crossed they don't have Tithe Taker on 2. They have Tithe Taker on 2, things get real awkward real fast. If we'd been on the play this game, we might have been okay with Quench into Sabotage, but being on the draw, they might just run us out here. Hopefully their deck misses their, hopefully they miss their second land drop. Alright, just another bodyguard. I think I have to keep the land here. Catch some Z's, Zerblin. Yep. Especially game 1, this is probably hard for us. What do we have on our sideboard here? Yeah, we've got 4 Cannonades and 4 Lava Coils on the board. This probably isn't unwinnable post-board. And that's just, like, one of the things I love so much about playing best of 3 in Magic is, like, most decks, even good decks, have matches that tend to be hard game 1, and then you get to pivot post-board and really have a shot. Thanks, Cast. I appreciate it. So I kind of want to land, but at the same time, I need ways to impact the board, right? I think I'm supposed to keep that. I can double Spiral next. I'm taking 5, but I can double Spiral next turn and maybe find my way to Niv. That's true. Ditching it to find red mana is probably not unreasonable either. Maybe I'm just supposed to do that. If I growth Quench there, I'm dead on board because I have to shock to put the Steam Vents into play. I guess I would have hit the Hinterland Harbor and been fine, but it doesn't seem like worth risking that. Yeah, I'm not sure. We don't really have outs here, right? This is probably not a Star of Extinction matchup. Honestly, I kinda think I want some negates here, right? I think Expansion Explosion is probably a little slow. Negate stopping History of Benalia is pretty valuable. Maybe I prefer Quench to negate, just because it can tag creatures too. Yeah, Chalky. They don't want to take the bad with the good. You can't expansion history. That's not how that card works. Nox is also much bigger than me, Za. Like, if you compare my channel to Nox, because Nox came from a non-Magic card game before this, his follower count and his viewer count, like, my viewer count's slowly catching up to his since I've been doing more arena content, but his follower count just, like, slaughters mine. So, if you are big enough, they will still work with you because, well, they want your views, right? Because Stomping Ground was the only land in my hand, so if I drew another one, I wouldn't quench better than Negate here. I did play the Harbor, chat. I wanted to opt that turn too. I shocked so I could put the Harbor in. So we get to Growth Spiral this turn. We really need a Cannonade, right? I'm gonna try and hit a land here. Hey, Jenser, thanks for the quarter of year. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh, getting to a point where Cannonade's not gonna be good enough. Okie doke. So, I'm gonna do this. The reason why I'm gonna do this during their upkeep is because this makes a 1/1 token when it dies, which means that if I do this during their upkeep, this token that gets made will have summoning sickness, so it won't be able to attack me this turn. So by waiting till their upkeep, I save myself 1 point of damage. So down to 4 here. We're just like, and that Fiery Cannonade was just like to barely keep us alive, right? We're by no means out of the woods just yet. Into the woods without regret. Yeah, but I think the 1 point of health is pretty important here with how low I am. I'm like pretty low on health. You're right that they could be playing the give your team indestructible, but I think it's worth the risk there. So I get to Lava Coil, the Hunted Witness, and then Lightning Strike the Sky March Aspirant next turn. Well, they don't really have a reason to play a card pre-combat. And if I wait till their draw step, they could draw a blue source and then have Negate available. Like here, I kind of messed up. I should have just lightning struck this for the same reason. Now they're going to be able to negate my lightning strike and I can't do it. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here watching. So like now, because I waited, I'm going to get blown up by this negator spell pierce. I should have just done this on my turn. This was a great example of like getting punished for waiting to play my instant speed card at instant speed. So you have 3 more cannonades in my deck that could potentially do stuff. 3 more cannonades in my deck. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody. I think this matchup's pretty rancid for this deck. If you look at what this deck is doing game 1, it has a bunch of counter spells, and like we were on the draw and they played a bunch of 1-mana creatures. You've been dumpstering this matchup. I think you've been pretty fortunate, Bob. Like if you're on the draw and they have anything resembling a reasonable start, we don't really have good tools. Like I get that post board we have Cannonade, but I think if you lose the coin flip, you're just like almost 0% to win game 1. Unless you have like a very fast Niv-Mizzet. Where are all the Esper control opponents at that we always run into? Where are all them Esper controls at? Yay! Godless Shrine! Woo! Godless Shrine! Please be Esper. Please be Esper. Please be Esper. Okay, Mardu. Mardu with no plays. Mardu control, perhaps? With double Quench in hand, no plays here is so very good for us. I think we're only tier 3. I believe we're only tier 3. Zeke, thank you for the 4-1-3 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Mana Weak, W-E-A-K is the name for Quench. So I'm playing out my island here because this way if my opponent plays a spell that I need to quench, I can Growth Spiral, shock in Stomping Ground, and then quench them. And if they didn't give me a spell that I needed to quench, I could Growth Spiral and then put land into play untapped. Thankfully, I drew an untapped land anyway, so we just get to go ahead and do this. That's some good clean living right there. Good clean living. Take this boot and kick our opponent's dot Esper next to the curve. What's going on, Warder? Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So Search is a good draw here. Worth noting that my opponent is playing Mardu, so they could potentially destroy this next turn. If they don't have a Mortify this turn, though, Chemister's Insight puts a 6th card in my graveyard, and then if I bin something, Search for Azcanta flips over, likely winning us the game. So if we get to dodge Mortify here, we can dodge a ball. Flip it, baby. Boom. So they can activate their Angel this turn. The fact that they couldn't kill Search for Azcanta last turn kind of implies to me they likely won't kill Niv this turn. And like if they gain 5, make an Angel here, that's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, fading removal here should mean they're dead. Oh, Opt is good. Oh, Opt is good. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do this here. Just like grab another spell. Oh, is that a good one? Well, a standard Kanji been making. I've been wondering how long it would take to see a modern donation deck. I've been wanting to see Soul Kite Control with a couple of Growth Spirals in the main. It depends on how much you donate, Soski. Is the answer. The modern decks have been getting about 90 points or so before they get played. I'm gonna just kill their entire board here, right? Chemister's Insight deals 3, and then Op deals 2. I can do this one as well. Standard base donation, probably a month or so. A month or more, maybe closer to 6 weeks. I don't know exactly. I never make promises because like people like to donate and cut and stuff like that. You found Seabiscuit. What's going on, Raver? Welcome to your promotion. And Fire Emblem. I watch you more than TV. Well, thanks for the second month in a row, Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. So this triggers twice. And then I'm good. So I will resolve both of these. And then I get to flashback Chemister's Insight or Jumpstart or whatever we call this thing. And then that's going to kill this angel. Because Niv's going to trigger deal 1. And then Chemister's Insight's going to trigger and deal 2. Actually, it's funny, you mentioned the wait time. The wait time on modern decks is similar right now for the base donation to what it's always been. It's just, we're doing more standard, so people submit a lot less modern decks. Because this format's great. Oh, yeah. You spend 2 spells to kill my Nivy boy. You do it. You do that. All right, so they're playing something kind of mid-rangey. Do I want Star of Extinction in my deck? I probably want Lava Coil, right? Because they have, like, Seraph of whatever. Star of Extinction is probably a little too expensive. I feel like I want my 2 extra threats here. Maybe I just trim this, actually. You've definitely been around the block. So I need 4 cuts here. How do we feel about, like, trim 2 of these, trim 2 of these? Quench seems pretty good here, especially on the draw. Let's give this a try. I think Sabotage is better on the play, but I think I'd rather have Quench on the draw. Quench on the draw lets me counterspell their 3-drops, which is where their powerful cards kind of start, which is nice. Yep, just share it through, Meadow. Once everybody gets through their reshare, we'll be back. We'll be back to normal. All right, so they really are playing more of a mid-range build. It felt that way from the first game when they're curved in Start till 3, but the treasure map kind of confirms that they're mid-rangey to me. That looks great. What's going on, Frags Party? Yeah, they changed how things are calculated, so they let everybody resub to like share their bigger thing. Really looking for another land at the moment. We have a lot of lands in our decks. We're pretty likely to hit another one just like that. Maybe Snowski. There was actually a 4-color gift deck that was playing Wilderness Reclamation that 5-0'd a Modern League. RQR with the 36th month. I believe you are our 3rd map icon here. Enjoy your plot of land here in Hoaglandia. Thank you for the 3 years. Welcome back. So, the playing a second Azcanta question is a good one. I think it's not worth playing the second Azcanta out because my opponent's playing a Mortify deck, so I don't want to get aggressive and bin the Azcanta and then get my first one mortified. For my new pink beard, maybe. I'm not really expecting to hit the 4,400 goal. But we'll see. I think a rainbow deck. What do you mean by rainbow? Do you mean all 5 colors? I don't think the mana in the format is quite good enough for 5 colors. I think we need a mana creature like Birds of Paradise or Sylvan Caryatid that makes all colors of mana for that to work. So my Quench is turning into a dead card at this point. So I'm actually going to go ahead and Quench this. Because if they pay for the Quench, they have to sacrifice this treasure, which is basically a card. Yeah, but that card's way worse than Sylvan Caryatid, Marty. I don't know that it's good enough. Maybe with Thunderherd Migration it could be good enough. 4-color gates is close to 5-color. That's true. Kill it with fire. Binning that, because it's mostly dead at this point. Check out some of our options here. Yeah, I guess I take that. I'm kind of in the market for card advantage, right? Yeah, ranked best of 3 and best of 1 are the same ladder. So playing either moves you up. This is fine. If that's all they're doing, I'm okay with that. I can just Chemister's Insight, draw 2 cards, untap, Lava Coil this. If they play something I care about, we might Sinister Sabotage. They have a Mortify here. And they have Mortify that's, like, fine for us, right? Like, they're spending their treasure to cast it, which basically puts them down a card, and then I have a backup search for next turn. I think they just want people to play either format and still move up the ladder, Jukeboxer. So, like, for instance, with the top 8 slots going the Mythic Invitational, they basically just want people to be able to play either format to get to the top. Whereas otherwise, they'd have to, like, split the invites up or something awkward like that. Well, that's an incredible draw. So I get to do this, into Lava Coil their thing here. And, like, untap my lands. I don't get to play the Search for Azcanta with this line, but I think it's worth waiting on the Search for a turn in order to take their creature off the table. Best of 1 and best of 3 are the same ladder. So Constructed, all of Constructed is the same ladder. Limited and Constructed should have different ladders. I just Lava Coil this, right? I think I actually don't use the Chemister's Insight because I like all the cards in my hand. And now I'm going to go ahead and Lava Coil this, and then search for Azcanta. And then pass the turn. I'm going to hold on to this Breeding Pool for now, because I'm probably going to ditch this Breeding Pool to the Chemister's Insight here. Alright, I don't have another answer to this. I guess I'm pretty likely to find one, though. Yeah, I'm just going to let this resolve again. I have two Lava Coils. I think Seraph's still a very playable Magic card. So I'm going to go ahead and Explosion this while leaving myself enough mana to cast Sabotage / activate Search for Azcanta here, I think. This is X's 4. Just like kill your thing, draw some cards. This makes my counter not strictly obvious too, because it looks like I'm just holding up Search for Azcanta. We really want to find a Niv-Mizzet here now, right? So we can actually close the game up. Modern donations are a minimum of 25. Do I get to kill them with Expansion Explosion next turn? Are we at that point yet? I think we would be getting to that point, right? I guess if I would have used both explosions on their dome, we probably would have killed them. I think you're right. They've had enough. How are we doing, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for hanging out here today. My name is Jeff Hoagland. If you're a new viewer, thanks for dropping by. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I stream Magic full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. If you find yourself enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. Past my subscribers, I'd like to give a short shout out to some of my sponsors. The Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series is a $5,000 cash tournament series that happens every single month in the Midwestern United States. If you can't make it out to play in one of their standard, modern, or legacy tournaments, be sure to check out their streaming coverage as well at twitch.tv/NRG series. BCW provides the wonderful sleeves that I use to protect my shuffling deck that you might hear flicking occasionally in the background. Using code Jeff10 at bcwsupplies.com, you can save 10% on sleeves, deck boxes, binders, and bags. Neo provides wonderful candy-flavored protein bars. Using code Hoagland at bit.ly/bar, you can save 10% on your orders with them. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone out there to Hoaglandia. You know, there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff here on Twitch, and I appreciate you choosing to drop by and spend part of your day here with us. We are 1-1 with Temur Reclamation so far. Hopefully we can find some more mid-range and control decks to beat up on. This deck seems to line up pretty well into those. Z-Attack, thanks for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Who are the people on the Hoaglandia banner? The people on the Hoaglandia banner are some of the larger contributors around here that also pay for that banner to stay in rotation. They are Nivik, Anaronix, Admiral Vortex, and Justin. How many green sources are in this deck? Oh, there's only 11 green sources in this deck. I probably can't keep this. This is a trap. That seems very reasonable. Modern Staple Wilderness Reclamation. What's going on, Miss Spitz? Thanks for the 3 months. Verticu, thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back, folks. Hope you're having a good one. Yeah, probably in for search for Azcanta. American Gamer, thank you for the 15 months of Beza Bucks. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, 11 sources is probably fine overall, Bob. It's just not enough to, like, risk keeping that hand, right? Punish for not holding Quench up. I wonder if this deck has enough pieces of removal in the main deck. It feels like it's probably a little bit light on removal spells. You know, we have, like, exactly 2 lightning strikes. I guess I have Star of Extinction as well. I think I need to do this just so I can surveil. Just, like, really need to find my lightning strike. Oh, how much to get onto the banner? The banner started $200 a month. So the people on there have been paying to keep it in rotation. I think I'm gonna quench this just to stop their setup at this point and, like, get my Azcanta flip sooner. If I find my way into some red lands here, we could get this Niv-Mizzet down, which would be nice. Waffle Soup, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted for Christmas. That one. Kill it with fire. If you gift $200 in subs, does that get you onto the banner? Yeah, we could probably work that out. Things are not looking good for our hero, chip. I think I want to leave red mana up here in case I hit the other lightning strike. They do. The new BCW Elite Guards 2 are the same 93mm height that Dragon Shields are. Maybe I'm supposed to hold up Quench here. I don't know. I feel like we're just kind of dumpstered here. I think I want to put. I mean, it's definitely a bias for the matches that I played, but I feel like there's enough creatures in my deck that there's enough creature decks in the format that I just like want removal spells in my main. Like only having 2 pieces of spot removal feels really pretty medium. Although Cannonade's kind of absurd here. Yeah, Shivan Fire could be okay. Seems fine. Do I want Lava Coil on top of Fiery Cannonade? I'm not sure that I do. Maybe just Cannonade's enough. Cannonade plus Lightning Strike. Lava Coil exiles their Seraphs, which are reasonable as well. They also kill Bellhaunt. Yeah, that's fair. And like the reach isn't very important on this. Yeah, it's definitely, like, I feel like the cards we have in our 75 are adequate for most matches, but, like, the mix of, like, what we currently have in our main in ratio to the matches that we're hitting doesn't feel great at the moment. Hey, thanks for the 13 months, Borin. There's a command in chat there to get feedback from my Twitter about how things went yesterday. Do I want an extra Niv in a matchup like this? I wonder if I do. Cut a search. Having the big threat to light block seems good. MC Stinton, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people. You can ship those Bezo bucks to every single month. Thanks for shipping them this way. Yeah, like, the opponent's deck is, like, a kind of unique mid-range deck, which makes it good in the format. It's a mid-range deck that, like, has disruption and aggressive slants in it, right? Like, Thief of Sanity can be difficult to interact with. They have Thought Erasure to, like, poke holes in what you're doing. Our start here is very good, though. You get to go Growth Spiral into a Shockland tier. Was an 8, actually. Let's do this. Hey, Shvevi, thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The exact verbiage I was given, Adam JRL, was that it is a liability to work with me, they feel, because of the feedback that I provide. That was the verbiage I was given. Yeah, 2 gifted subs is the same as is good for a standard deck donation. So, I'm definitely growth spiraling. The question is, do I want to sabotage this or do I want to Fiery Cannonade it? With the second sabotage here, I'm definitely sabotaging. I think I'm at a point where I'm keeping Niv on top here. And I'm going to go ahead and play the Chemister's Insight to try and hit my land drop this turn. Nah, that's not true. I'm just gonna pass with the sabotage up. Yeah. Yep. The sabotage gives me a good chance to play Niv next turn, and I have Trip Red, right? Yeah, so let's just do this. This isn't necessarily GG. They could still have Mortifies in their deck. Like, I had Search for Azcanta and stuff, and that's one of the reasons why Mortify is so good, right? We beat the Martyr deck that we were playing. Hostage Taker would be brutal there. Yeah, I guess they sometimes play one Eldest, right? That's delicious. I don't know why they waited. So when they add when they add best of 3 direct challenge to the arena client, I plan to host probably a monthly sub tournament that subscribers will be able to join. I'm going to give out like points for my deck queue and like probably some BCW product and other stuff from the sponsors as prizes for it. We will. The requirement to play in it will be that you are subscribed to the channel and that you can share your screen via Discord. So you'll have to be in the subs Discord and subscribe to the channel. So that way because I don't want to play in the tournament, I want to do commentary over the people that are playing in it. But I want it to be a best of 3 with sideboard format because that's mostly what we stream here. And if you're a sub and you like to pop into the Discord now rather than later, there's the link to that. This hand is excellent. A 1-2B Josin, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. And unfortunately, I can't give you a timeline on when that's going to be possible because we don't know when we're getting direct 3 best of challenge, best of 1. The tournament would be on a weekend. Yeah, probably. I might, or maybe I'd rotate it. Like, if I did, like, a weekday, that would be, like, decent for people that are, like, in the UK. Because, like, obviously, when it starts, like, being a kind of a global thing, like, the time zone's not going to work for everyone. Thanks, Rabbit Wallaby. I appreciate that. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but there's a lot more people here. While I don't want to change how I present myself, I don't want to change giving critical and specific feedback. If you ever feel that I'm being unfair or I'm being needlessly rude with my feedback, call me out on that. Say, Jeff, your message is good, or sometimes maybe my message sucks, but say, this was needlessly negative or something of that nature. Help me be a better me. I think I'm gonna go ahead and opt. Your message is fine, you're just really loud. Yikes. Land please, land please. Woof. Alright, well that went worse than expected. Yeah, provide examples. Just, there's a lot of people that have just been like, you're always obnoxious. And I was just like, well, that doesn't help. Because I know I'm obnoxious sometimes, but I'm definitely not always obnoxious. Are you now considered the bad boy of Magic? When someone else made a pro wrestler reference earlier that I didn't quite get, but they said I'm the heel. I don't know what that means. I think your comments about people who criticize you on Reddit go beyond what is productive to be insulting them. You're right, I shouldn't call names. And I feel like I've tried my best to not call names. But again, like, you're being not specific there. You're saying, like, you just call names. Like, what do you consider a name? Is me saying a lot of the people who have like, is me saying people have a vendetta against me from a long time ago, do you think that's me calling a name? Because that's just me being honest, right? There's a lot of people that, like, are... No, I'm not turning into Tiwu. Tiwu is a piece of garbage. He's red. He created, like, hate groups. And that's the other thing, right? Like, I'm kind of a staunch advocate for, like, helping people, like, be better and be accepting of people from different groups and, like, not judging people based on their merits and not, like, on their background and where they come from. So, like, please don't lump me in with people who are genuinely hateful. There's a difference between me being kind of rude on occasion because I'm crass and me, like, being hateful towards people based on their religion or their gender or something of that nature. Calling people garbage kind of makes you that usually. That's not true at all. That's not true. I would classify anybody who harasses other people based on where they're from or what they look like and not based on the content of their character. I would classify those people as garbage. I think that's a good, pretty moderate, objective classification. I think you have a habit of banning people because they're not adding utility to your comments. Unhelpful is unhelpful in building a whole sphere. I completely disagree with you. In fact, the number of people who tell me I need to run my channel differently to be successful while I'm currently being very successful is very frustrating. It's like, well, I'm kind of one of the leading people in this field. Hey, Sam Temur, thank you very much for the Prime support. Thanks for shipping me your Bezo bucks. But like, there's 2,000 people in here right now, right? Could you imagine if I just let everybody in chat post whatever they wanted, and so long as it wasn't explicitly derogatory or harassing, it would just be fine to put in the chat? Like, the chat would be non-stop mono nonsense. It shows now that I've been subbed for 3 months. Twitch did this for the money it seems. Guest deck shufflers have finally... What's going on, Cranky Cooley? Thanks for the 3 months. Welcome back. I am not going to the NRG event this weekend. I think we're dead, right? I guess I could draw one of our 2-mana removal spells and pair it up with Fiery Cannonade. Yeah, we're dead. I get it. Like, the culture that's been created in a lot of Twitch and even other places on the internet is that you shouldn't expect to get your message removed if it's off topic. It should only be removed if it's blatantly offensive. And there's so many people here, and I know a lot of the people that support my content support it because I'm able to respond to messages. And if everybody's just posting stuff in chat, even if it's technically harmless, it's just noise, right? And I'm gonna miss important messages that are meaningful questions in that churn. And if people take 30 seconds to like read my chat rules, they'll understand that that's gonna happen to them. You're a fantastic streamer and a better person. I think you're opinionated, but you're also bright enough to have a substantial opinion. Thanks, McPick, I appreciate that. The first time I watched your stream, your inflations while talking bothered me, but over time I don't even notice anymore. You also seem to do it less. The only thing that bothered me. Well, thanks for watching. I'm gonna keep this hand. Maybe I might change up and put some of the removal in the main deck of this deck. Having all counters main is medium. I'm here to see my name on the YouTube VOD later. I've had to legit unsubscribe to people who don't mod their channels because they don't respond to anything in the chat. Is all off topic. Yeah. Yeah, and I really don't want to go sub only because I feel like with the moderation that we have, we're nowhere near needing to be at that point. But without strict moderation, I feel like at this point, I would need to turn my chat into sub only to have anything meaningful. Oh gosh, are we playing some kind of mirror? Chidoma greater than Chipotle. I heard this gets timed out. You'd be right. You'd be right. Sub only is a huge turnoff for a lot of new viewers. I agree. I think a lot of people who end up subscribing to the channel eventually do so because I was able to read their message and respond to their message because I was able to see it. Do you agree with Watsy's assessment that you are a liability? Yeah. Yeah, I think they view anyone who's going to be critical of them as a liability, and I think they're currently making the estimated guess that the liability that I present by working directly with me is not outweighed from the benefit that I offer. King Hellcat, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub, and Drew, thank you for the sub gifties. Welcome. And like at the end of the day, right? Like I'm still here making magic, so like, are they really gonna get that much more out of me by being affiliated with me? Because like, it's not like they said we don't want to be directly affiliated with you. We're like, you know, I'm gonna stop making magic. Like that's not here. I'm here making magic because I love playing the game, right? I think I just jam. Let's like head to the Space Jam here. I joined the chat because you're an Illinois native like myself and I enjoy your content and was thinking about streaming and I wanted to see watching your channel would help in that respect. Yeah, I watch other streamers constantly. Like when I sign off for the day and start doing my post-stream work, I always pull up other people. Always watch what other people are doing and learn from them. So there's a difference, Londomark, between being salty and being critical of Wizards of the Coast. Like, in fact, and I'm not going to name names because I'm not creating a witch hunt, but I actually had people that were, I had people that were upset that I wasn't invited to the Invitational, and they were linking me videos of people who were invited to the Invitational, like crapping on and like swearing at and like putting down the people they were playing against on Magic Arena. So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, I try not to do things like that. So, both things being toxic or whatever you want to call it of that nature is not disqualifying, while being critical of like decisions that Wizards of the Coast makes is disqualifying. And like at the end of the day, they get to make the decisions, right? They get to choose who represents their brand directly and who doesn't. Like in a way, I represent their brand, right? Like I'm here talking about Magic. I've brought a lot of people into Magic and made them spend more money probably. Yeah, and I heard some people say things like, you know, they're not sure if they want to keep playing Magic and supporting Wizards based on the decisions that they've made. At the end of the day, don't let some decision some management person made about me or something else with Magic like ruin the game that you love playing, right? Like Magic's a great game and it's very unique and there's nothing else out there like it. Don't let some decision that they've made ruin something that you enjoy. Happy Cosm, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. For shipping your Bezo bucks this way. You know what? Honestly, being polarizing is probably part of the reason why I'm so successful. There are a bunch of people out there who hate me, but the people who like me tend to love me proportionally to how much the people who hate me. So at the end of the day, it's probably good for me that I'm polarizing, right? When are you going to be sponsored by a credit card company? That's probably one I should seek out. Yeah, I think we're pretty dead here at this point. They're super far ahead. It's better to make something that people love than something that everyone likes. I completely agree. That is a sentiment that I completely agree with. All right, let's cut a couple of our clunky cards. I think I might have lost that game when I jammed my Wilderness Reclamation on 4. Like, I jammed my Wilderness, they countered, they untapped and played their own Wilderness, and then I just lost, basically. Can someone link the actual Google Doc I use for the donation queue? bit.ly/donation queue will get you there, if you don't want to look at the queue on my website directly. Research on dating sites show that individuals are generally attractive, but who have a more polarizing appearance end up getting a much greater degree of attention than those who are generally attractive but polarizing. Probably an extension of that, yeah. JPick, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks here. What are my last two cuts? Is it probably Quench? It's probably Quench, right? This card gets dead as we go along, and none of these other cards are good. Yikes. Alright, sure. Turn two search on the play is very good here. Just to get that down before they can have a counter spell up and kind of get set up using it. You did get a giant magic tattoo on your face? Big fan of the channel and you. I think I've learned to think more critically of myself and has grown as a Magic player and a person. I want to comment on the not sponsored. If you're not required to put that on your stream title, it seems like an unnecessarily aggressive backhand at Wizards of the Coast and can lead to bad blood as opposed to reconciliation. I mean, the not sponsored, you're right. I agree with you. It's kind of childish. Maybe I should take it down, but it also tells people how the call went, right? Like, not sponsored makes it very clear how the call went, which was 2,000 people in here yesterday wanted to know about. And no, I am not required to put that in my stream title. I think this is fine. So, I think I learned from last game that we're not just jamming the Wilderness Reclamation right away. I think that just has to happen. There is a command as well. So the thing you need to learn about Twitch is that, like, no matter how many places you put information, there's still going to be people that ask. I like this build a lot, Gorks. Maybe we'll give this a try in the matchup for this one. Rod, they changed how they're counting things a little bit, so it's a little bit different now. The idea is how a Temur Reclamation deck in Modern would look like. Yeah, it would look like you died on turn 4 because you tapped out. So it's funny. So once upon a time, I streamed Paper Magic on this channel, and for the paper magic stuff, I literally put the deck list is linked under the screen at the bottom of the screen, and people would still come in and go, where's the deck list? Just to make it kind of general, could someone time out LSBV? I know I'm pretty upfront about asking for specific feedback on things, but people that like to mention, like, my inflection and the way that I sound while I speak, I don't want that feedback. This is how I talk. It's like asking someone from another country to say, hey, could you lose your accent? I really don't like it. I understand that I sound different from the way that you speak, but I'm not about to change the way I talk because it's unpleasant to you because it's different to you. It's not a tone for me. It's how I talk. It's just, this is my voice. It's what I sound like when I talk. Ooh, I missed one. 2 months in the sword. Regardless of what we disagree on, you're still my favorite streamer. Well, thanks, Macaulay. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Yeah, people can mask their accents when they talk too, but that's not naturally how they talk. Haven't you ever heard someone on a TV show use a fake accent? That can happen because people can mask their accents. I could actively try and work to change the way I speak to appease random internet dezens, but then different internet dezens would tell me that the new way I've changed to is also not enjoyable for them. It's just, like, not really a thing that I can fix to appease everybody, right? So, like, why would I make this really conscious effort to, like, change for some people if it's not going to solve everything? Someone that spends a lot of time with Jeff off stream, this is just how he talks, and I don't understand why people care. You and me both. Alright, so they got to stick Reclamation here. Not having growth spirals early and missing land drops was pretty damning in these games. Alright, so I do get to Reclamation here, and if they have a counterspell, I can expansion their counterspell and maybe stick this. Hey, Ferg TQ. Thank you very much for gifting a sub there. I appreciate that. Yes, it's definitely part of keeping energy up. I'm here all day. I'm here for like 10, 11 hours a day. This is how I keep my energy up. Hey, thanks for doing another sub gifty there for TQ. And Rug Trumpington, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate you shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. Ooh, maybe this Niv-Mizzet can resolve next turn and they won't have a way to take it off. Twitch won't let you do 40 at once. It should give you an option to do a bunch for TQ. It should give you, there should be a number button. But Triples with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much and welcome. Kamikaze KP with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much, folks. Those subs are the reason that I'm able to be here. So thanks for keeping me around. They could just have a bunch of air in their hands here. They don't have a search for Azcanta going, which means our average card quality is definitely going to be higher than theirs. So maybe this Niv-Mizzet comes down here and they just get buried. First time I met you was at an open and you called a judge on my opponent. I mean, did your opponent do something they weren't supposed to? Big Nuki, thank you very much for the 36 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You're a mean jerk and I love you. I'm gonna let that one slide because you gave me money with it. Thank you, Sam Tucko Husk. Are there supposed to be Crushing Canopies in this deck? The lack of Crushing Canopies is kind of weird. You don't have any in yours either, Gorks. Towards mono blue, perfect Drew. So, I don't ever intend to change my upfrontness and my honesty, but I definitely can strive to improve as far as the way in which I deliver that message. There's a difference between being correct and being correct while still being rude, right? And that's the line that I try to strive to like work better at. Being tactful is a good vernacular. I think they have an explosion and we're dead. Oh, just 14 cards, huh? That's all you got? That's it? All right. Yeah, I agree. I just was looking at my graveyard and put the stop on there. I was like, I'm pretty sure I want to do this in response to Azcanta so I can flip this over. We're like almost certainly dead, right? I've got 2 counter spells, but it's gonna like play a Niv-Mizzet and kill me. Thanks, Big Pick. It's no one's perfect, but it's okay to like point out things that someone can do better, even if you are not perfect, right? Probably take out Rail and a Cannonade to fit them in. That makes sense. Wow, did they not? Wow, I tapped my Azcanta by mistake. I just assumed they were gonna have another spell. Yeah, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. No, other wager. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Gosh, my editor is great. If you're someone who plays 4-color gates, my editor is awesome, and he got my article out last night even though I missed my deadline. I assume we're dead here because I burned a Negate already. Oh, he got my article up this morning even though I submitted it late last night. Oh, I'm gonna try a match or two with this other build that Gork's linked. It's very similar idea, has a couple of different cards like Precog, but this as a whole feels kind of medium. Let's edit what this has going on. I'm gonna put a couple of Crushing Canopies in the board. This card seems real good. We are back to the rank floor. We've been at the rank floor. We got beat up a little bit. Honestly, I'd kind of be surprised if we ever get past plat, but that's fine. We've been like getting paired up into like mythic and diamonds. So if you need free rank boosts, we are kind of handing them out with meme decks throughout the day. All right, growth spiral on the play. Let's do it. Ferg TQ, thanks for the gifties. Hey, Scaramon, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Typically, you board out Wilderness against Control and bring in Karns and Negates. Interesting. So, like, what are the Wildernesses, like, there for mid-range then? Just mid-range and aggro? It seems weird to board it out against Control. Well, this is effectively our best draw possible, right? It's like turn three Reclamation on the play with the Chemister's Insight. Oh, there really isn't a budget replacement for Crisis. That card is very unique in what it does. It's super powerful, especially in the Gate stack. Like, the Gate stack needs a bomb like that it can jam when it's going long. That's just too much effort, Cookie Lord. The amount of extra revenue doing something like that generates versus how much effort it takes to execute just doesn't make it profitable or good productive use of my time. So if they counter this, I get to just expansion their counter back at them. I'm always worried I'm going to counter my own spell when I do stuff like that. The stack gets real close together there. I wish I could expand that out. That's fair, Gorks. Yeah, against Esper Control, I could definitely see that because they have those things. I'm gonna keep filling up my bin here. Hey, Arclight, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Welcome back. No, I never really owned that many Magic cards. I had, yeah, losing at the rank floor is adding points to the system, right? I'm not losing anything and people are getting bonuses. Which is why I'm really happy we, like, cleared into Plat 3, because, like, or Plat 4, because we got to Plats, like, we're getting paired against pretty much all reasonable decks at this point, but, like, advancing doesn't really matter. We're creating inflation. Alright, well, Flip Search Azcanta is pretty good here. Niv is also good if we could cast him at some point. Need a red source here still. Probably want to wait to cast Niv until I can hold up Sabotage as well anyways. Wonder how long Quench is going to be alive for. Probably not long. There's a good chance I think there's a good I'm going to play the Sabotage here on this. I think there's a good chance this Chemister's Insight ends up discarding the Quench next turn. Yeah, I guess I could have quenched the Sabotage. I don't know. I wanted the Surveil, and I can, like, discard this to this, right? That's unfortunate. They've stuck a thing now. Yeah, this deck, the biggest issue with this archetype really just... Remember when we were talking about how counterspells are complicated on the stack and it's really awkward and easy to misclick? Do you remember when we were talking about that? It's kind of funny, hilarious, depressing, whatever you want to call it. Like, we just talked about how that's awkward and then it happened. They learned from us. We've made a terrible mistake. Yikes, not a red land. Do you think when you go up a tier 3 to tier 2, the 2 lost forgiveness? I'm not sure what you're referring to exactly. I think I just want all of these, actually. Okay, actually just want all 3 of them. Shock this in so I can hold up Sabotage and pass. And the Arena descriptors. Ferg TQ gonna push us up over that 4,200 for the extra emote slot here soon. All right, so this happens. We actually have a couple emote slots open now, so I have a couple of ideas, but I need to, like, work with my graphics designer on getting them in. And now we're gonna float mana off of these. All right, this game is over. We just haven't won yet. And, like, the fact that, like, this game would probably be pretty close if my opponent hadn't messed up their counterspell. Slice Tie, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. There's a lot of great people you can ship those Bezo bucks to every month. Thanks for spending them here. Is that a kill with explosion? Like, the problem is, like, I don't want to just jam this when they could have a counterspell up, right? They understand that they're not beating 3 Azcanta activations to turn those, so, like, that's good for us. So, the Wilderness Reclamation, if you watched what I did there in that last game, you can stack the triggers at your end of turn to basically double up your mana or activate your Search for Azcanta multiple times in between the untapped triggers. Which is why having multiple out like that is pretty good. Alright, do I want these negates? Star of Extinctions is kind of bad. Negate's probably better than Quench. Trim and Opt as well. Yeah, this card's very good with instants, especially cards like Expansion Explosion that have an X in them. So you can, like, in response to your trigger, float a bunch of mana, and then your land's untap, and then you make a bunch more mana and have a very large X. I agree. Multiplying your Azcanta activations is very, very good. What would I change the ops to? You're like saying, what would I play instead of them if I was, like, forced to cut the ops? Would Electro Dominance or Mass Manipulation fit? So Mass Manipulation isn't an instant, so it doesn't really fit well with the Wilderness Reclamations. And Electro Dominance, I think, just ends up being worse than Expansion Explosion a lot of the time when it comes down to it. when push comes to shove, basically. Ferg TQ still doling out the sub gifties. For folks getting your new shovels, they're in the shed over there. There's some knights around that will direct you to the trenches that need digging. Yeah, I think I'm in for that in a control mirror. Yes, that last game was a great example of the utility of expansion, right? Like, both of us were expansioning each other's stuff to great effect. Top Toe doling out 5 sub gifties as well. Thank you very much for your generosity. I appreciate that. Listen, chat. The 4,400 goal for the beard, that was the first time I felt like I set a goal that we weren't going to achieve. So it's really okay if we don't get there. Y'all are great. Wow, that's brutal. Woof. I think this is one of the ways we lose this game, huh? I wasn't too upset if the Niv-Mizzet just died there, but like the fact that they had Eldritch Reborn is pretty brutal. I think I just have to jam the second one here so I can like try and race this getting mine back. You should probably let the conscripts know that the shovels do nothing to defend them from the sword-wielding monsters handing them out. Yeah, we're gonna need Crushing Canopy for sure. I'm glad we have 2 of those in the deck right now. You say often that you like to board out ops in game 2 for cards that you'd rather draw into. Why is that not the case this game? So that's the case in the Pirates deck, where I've talked about that being something that I want to do, but it's a little bit different in this deck specifically, because in general, I would prefer... What's the word I'm searching for? In general, I would prefer to have the ops, because they're good with things like Niv-Mizzet too, whereas in the Pirates deck, we're not getting extra triggers out of them. Cosplay as Gideon. I don't know that Gideon with pink hair really jives together. This counterfight happening before they have their own Niv-Mizzet is very good for us. And now if they have another counter, I drew a Negate, which is just excellent. Looking for a Crushing Canopy here. Cosplay as Chandra. Paula Cantino with the 5-month sub. Thank you very much and welcome back. Oh, the five sub gifts. Wow, Bushmouth. Thank you for the 5 sub gifties. All right. Triggers. The deck list is on your screen via the Stream Decker widget. Alternatively, you can type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. Alright, do they have a negate for my negate here? The more spells they cast, the quicker they die to Niv, right? Like they're at 8 and I'm at 15. There are 3 pictures of me online that exist with blue here. I'm more upset that I weighed 65 pounds less back then and embarrassed the vlog emo face. We're gonna do a permanent dye. I think that usually that lasts. It fades a little bit after a hot second, but usually those last for a couple of months, right? Till it grows back out. To shoot down our Niv. Maybe? I don't know if they're gonna cast that many spells, right? Lava Coil beats Niv, that's true. Oh, explosion does kill them, right? Because it does 5, and then it does 5 more. Yeah, we explode their face. And then Niv triggers from the explosion, drawing cards kills them, so it doubles up. That's like, a couple of people are asking like what this deck does. We've been being a little clunky so far. That's the idea, right? You like get a Niv into play and then you explosion for a bunch, and then like having Wilderness Reclamation can like let you have extra giant explosions at end of turn. So if you like have Reclamation in play and then like play Niv, you can untap and like draw stuff right away. What are the kinds of jobs you can get with a master's in mathematics? People with math degrees, especially graduate degrees, tend to go into either you pick some kind of focus and your focus kind of dictates what you do. Teaching is something, but that doesn't pay a lot of money. If you only go into teaching because you like teaching. You can do statistical analysis. You can have a software background and do problem solving that way. Math degree equals jobs. This streaming on Twitch is the best paying teaching job I've ever had. To set a bar that's incredibly low. Insurance companies, actuaries, if you get some actuarial tests done. Man, not grading stuff is so great. Ever worked as a programmer? So, if you visit my GitHub page, you can see a bunch of stuff on there. Well, it's been a while since I've really worked on anything, even semi-seriously. Done a couple of freelance projects here and there. And I worked, my job after grad school, I did a bunch of automation stuff for an insurance company, like process improvement. Like, people showed me how they did their jobs, and I was like, okay, we're gonna make a computer do this better than you do it. Because computers are great. What would you recommend for a new streamer on how to get started and what programs to use? OBS is kind of the industry standard. OBS or the Streamlabs OBS fork are the two things I'd recommend. You can tell either of those. So basically, you got people fired. Do you have a preferred programming language? Yeah, Python. All of my projects, if I have control over what they get written in, are Python. All right, I think I wait. No, actually, I'm gonna jam this because if they counterspell me, I can expansion their counterspell. We could be just getting mortified here, right? What is it you called that? Process automation? Yeah, process automation. It's like, what do you do every day? Is it repetitive? Do you do a repetitive task? If yes, we could probably help you. Oh, I should have floated a mana in response to this trigger, so I could play Chemister's Insight and still hold up Sabotage. So slightly inefficient there. Yeah, I should wait for the untap and then float in response. That's a good call. Jonathan, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. There's a lot of great people you can give that to every single month. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way. Most of my GitHub is like Python and C and Bash, but the projects that are Bash and C are like things I inherited from other people, like projects I forked. I agree, programming is like problem solving, which is why people with math backgrounds tend to do well in programming, because you're a problem solver. The last couple of emotes have turned out really well. Voments and segmentation faults. You ever debugged a process using Valgrid and GDB? It's not a pleasant experience. Would not recommend. Things I would prefer to never do again. That. Python's so wonderful. Like, when your Python program crashes, it, like, gives you a trace back to the line where it crashed at. Like, God bless you. It's way more work than Python. If you do it every day, it's my water bottle just vomited on me. Awkward. All right, so am I getting to a point where I'm ready to expansion explosion yet? I feel like I'm not, right? Now, if I'm playing optimally, I should float mana from all my lands in response to this trigger every turn. But in reality, I'm going to go ahead and expansion explosion them here. I'm not going to get to keep all these cards, but it's effectively a loot, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 9 mana. All right, so I'm going to let their thing resolve. Oh my god, it didn't have a stop on my end of turn. Whatever. I wasn't sure I wanted to do it anyways. Fine. Make the decision for me, Magic Arena. I get you. One thing that Magic Online does that I really wish they would implement in this application is even if you don't have a stop set, if you have floating mana on Magic Online, it asks you before it change phases. So even if you don't have stop set, it says, hey, you have floating mana and we're about to change phases. Do you want to lose that? Which is a really good safety catch. So I have 11 mana here, 10, so X is 6 on this. I'm only going to do 6 here. I think 6 is fine. I really just want to find like a Niv-Mizzet, right? Yeah, they'll be dead to another Reclamation as well. I have this Lightning Strike here also. Oh, yeah. Shock me, baby. Shock me. Upstairs. Ooh, we found a piece of candy, chat. We found a piece of candy. Nom, 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 nom. Yeah, we had lethal before this with counter backup. Stop it. Sure. Absorb me, baby. Alright, so they're gonna die to this explosion here. So, move to my end of turn, trigger Wilderness Reclamation. In response to this trigger, float some mana, resolve, cast this for X's 9. Have exactly X's 9, that's great. Hey, what's going on, the link between? I'm trying the Marsh deck from earlier with Aurelia and the 2-mana Double Striker. Yeah, we played a different hero deck. I guess that's similar to the Naya hero deck we played, right? Yeah, I don't think you play around Spell Pierce out of Esper. That doesn't seem meaningful. So earlier, someone commented that when they were playing this deck, they were boarding this out against Esper, and even though it was good there, I think that makes a lot of sense. Post-board, they're going to have more counterspells, making this much harder to resolve. And even when we do win a fight to get it resolved, they can just mortify it. So I think trimming this makes a lot of sense. The ins and outs line up really nice here as well. I get to go ahead and like have my negates, my canopies, my Karns, my extra Niv, my extra expansion. You want to keep in strike? Oh, do you keep in strike to like finish Teferi off? Is that what we want to do? It's also a little bit of reach. For Thief. Okay, that makes sense. Nemesis, you have a shield without a sword. Let's fix that. And I cut the quenches then. I could have quenched an opt. Then that's 4 answers to Thief, so that's probably plenty. Mortify is very, very good. It's funny, someone made a comparison that it just like made a lot of sense to me. They were like, Crushing Canopy is good in this format because there's a lot of matches where Crushing Canopy is literally green Mortify. And it's just like, huh. There really are a lot of matches where Crushing Canopy is just green Mortify. Like, all their creatures fly, and it kills enchantments. You're like, alright, sure, yeah. In for mono green Mortify. You know, I'm really not inclined to mulligan that much against Thought Erasure decks. Our poker hand's great. If we draw some lands, our magic hand is probably fine, so let's do it. Why are Mortify and Crushing Canopy worded differently? Because they're from different eras. So Mortify is an old Magic card that got reprinted, so it's templated different. We templated cards differently back then. Is basically the answer. So I'm shocking in here, so that way if they play another discard spell, I can just expansion it back at them. Alright, we died, chat. The game has ended. Hope everybody had a good time. Which are the Bant Flash decks, what I consider the best? I like the build on my website reasonably. It's one of the deck lists. If you go on my jeffhoagland.com and click standard decks, you're going to find that up there. I'm going to take one shot at Lightning Strike here, and then we're going to get absorbed, and I'll move on to the next one. Onward, upward, backward, forward. Thief could as well have phage wording. Just like 3 hits and the game's over. Yeah, more than 1 hit is usually, especially when you're stumbling, you're just not catching up. Hey, Bronze Beard, thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. This is my 4 realsies resub notice as opposed to the repeat notifications. Well, thanks either way, Mr. Photon. Thanks for 3/4 of a year and welcome back. I mean, Thief of Sanity's been known as good for a while. There just weren't really good blue-black shells last season because we didn't have good supporting colors for them. So I think Thief has always been good. It's just we have better supporting cards around it right now. So this hand's like a little bit soft to Thief, but like I don't think we can mulligan aggressively for answers to Thief, especially when they have Duress and Thought Erasure in their deck. Hey, thanks for continuing that sub-gift, Eisenwolf. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm picking up a more blue-centric build? I don't think so. There was, however, a Sultai control deck that top 32'd the SCG Open. So if you missed that, I definitely recommend checking it out. Not sure why it let me know that I have been subscribed for a year twice, but hopefully it does. Go ahead, don't see in Philadelphia. Yeah, they changed some of the Twitch backend, so people are reposting. So I don't think it's strictly GG this game just because I have lands and I have like these precogs in my hand. So like they're gonna get at least one more hit from Thief here most likely. But if I draw like a Lightning Strike or something like that, we could be okay. And then like next turn, I'm gonna get to. Next turn, I'm going to get to what's the word I'm searching for? Like cast precog, which is nice. Alright, their hand doesn't do a lot here. So they do this, and then I'm gonna negate their actual thought erasure. And then like, you know, if I draw a removal spell, we're in a good spot. Oh, they have a counter spell here. They take a negate off my deck. They might have taken a negate or a quench. This is a quench, right? This is a quench? Yeah, it is. Was playing against Drakes last night. They made me click through -3 on Teferi until he built out while I had the emblem. Some people are real salty. Alright, 6 looks at an answer. Alright. Let's see if we can come back after Thief has landed a couple of hits. If they don't draw a discard spell this turn, we should be good, because we can Crushing Canopy plus Counterspell. They gave us a Chemister's Insight in the bin. I agree. Precog's a card I've been, like, moderately impressed with. God bless America. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of the icing. Wait, what? I am very confused. I am. Deal? Yes. 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 Please crush that. Thank you. They played us like a fiddle, chat. They played us like a fiddle. They used the bait and we took it, okay? We took the bait. Alright. Got one more Crushing Canopy in my deck. This deck's been really bad. The power level of what this deck is doing just does not feel like it's quite there. Woof. I think we won one match in there. That was kind of brutal. So why wasn't I into what this deck was doing? Honestly, this deck feels like it had a lot of the same problems that these blue-red based control decks kind of have in Modern. Which is that trying to play a control deck without access to white or black cards to interact with problem permanents that resolve just isn't quite fantastic. I think if you wanted to play a deck in these colors that has counterspells in it, you're probably much better off focusing on a tempo style deck that's able to apply pressure, you know, something like Drake's, for instance. So that way when your opponent has a card that you can't answer, you can just kill them. Hindsight, if you had exploded the Thief, Canopy would have killed Niv. Yeah, that's a good thing to catch. I think you're right. If I expect Niv to be under the Thief there, that I could have sequenced better and possibly gotten out of that there. I don't know. I feel like we didn't get unlucky. I feel like we drew kind of average in a lot of those games, and our average draws just, like, weren't very good. I'd believe you that, like, you kind of have an okay matchup against mid-range and control decks in the format, but it's probably not good enough to make up for the fact that, like, you're going to really struggle against the aggressive decks that just, like, get under you. Like, you know, a great example of why this deck could be medium is, like, the game we played against mono, right? White, right? Like, we were on the draw, we kept a reasonable hand with, like, 3 lands, Quench, Sinister Sabotage, and they just, like, played a 1-mana 2-1 on turn 1, and I was just like, oh, we're dead. All right, what are we doing here? Let me update the stream title with other decks we're going to be doing today. So it's noon, and I plan to stream for another 7 hours or so. So I'm probably going to do 5 more decks. So we have Grixis, Niv, Sultai Midrange, Bant, Amulet, Black-White, Angels, and then Sultai, Jelly Thief. Yay, organization. Speaking of Thief backed up by counter spells and disruption. Speaking of,